Hello, welcome to another interview on TomBecka.com. You know, when a friend of mine came to me and said, Tom, I've got this friend that's an intuitive and a life coach, and you ought to interview her. And I thought to myself, what the hell is an intuitive and a life coach? And I thought, well, if I thought that, maybe others would think that. And so it sounds interesting. Let's delve into it. And so we did. I invited her up for the interview. And I will say, she was the most lively and energetic interview that I've done so far. Most upbeat one, I think, that I've done so far. And definitely an interesting topic. And one that I really had no concept of before I began this. So I guess the first question would be, what the hell is an intuitive and a life coach?
It means that I help people with any kind of life problems. I do business as well, but mostly life stuff. You name it. Really, I've had the gamut of things. So.
Are you like a professional girlfriend or something like that? You know, I mean, do women
you're telling all my secrets.
No,
what are you doing?
Do women call you up and say, "Oh, my boyfriend and I can't do it. I need to lose weight and all this," and then you just tell them what to do?
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. That, or I mean, it runs the gamut from what's my next step in life? I'm not happy. I don't know why. To boyfriend troubles, girlfriend troubles, wife troubles, whatever.
How do you get into doing something like this?
For me, it actually stemmed from doing it for free and thinking, hey, I could probably do this. And the intuitive part is just basically like you hear women's intuition, gut feeling, stuff like that. So I was heavier on the intuitive side early on and moved more toward personal development now. So
okay, now let's talk about the intuitive side.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Let's talk about that. Okay, first of all, intuitive is not a psychic, right?
You know, you can say that absolutely, but I think for me, I just use that word because I don't do pure what a traditional psychic would do, meaning, with the palm reading or the tarot or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't do that. I just have gut feelings. I tend to see what people need to do to better their lives rather than tell them what's going to happen. And so I just use a different word for it so that it distinguishes me from a fortune teller. Sometimes. Not everyone gets it. But
okay, so if I were to come to you and say, hey, Deb, I've got problems, do you then like just sort of say, oh, I know what your problems are, and you start talking about it? Do you have that sort of intuition? Or do I have to go and like pour out all of my issues and problems and then have you take it from there?
That's actually a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to ask great questions.
You're a good interviewer.
Why, thank you. I try.
You must have done this
Why
before.
you are intuitive?
I see things.
Yes.
I know stuff. When I first started, I didn't really know what to do with it because I had never heard of an intuitive life coach. And so when people came to me at that point, I just did cold reading. I would just tell them, this is what I feel from you, and et cetera, et cetera. However, as time went on, I wanted it to be less about what I could do. Like, who cares that I know that? Really, what's the big deal? Honestly, we're all intuitive. And so I wanted to get into how best can I help you? Honestly, I don't want people walking away going, ooh, that was freaky. I want them walking away saying, I've got some solid advice. I can use it in my life, and I feel better.
Okay, now as I look at this, and again, I'm a bit of a skeptic.
I am too. It's okay. Totally.
What do you mean you're a skeptic?
You don't. They called me the skeptical psychic.
If you don't believe you, how am I supposed to believe you?
No, I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm an open-minded skeptic. But when this first started happening to me, quote unquote, my intuition opened. I thought I was crazy. I truly thought, going to the loony bin, I'm going to check myself in. And I fought it for years. But the reality is that I'm still very skeptical about a lot of things. I'm just open-minded. So.
Okay, so you're being skeptical about this. Now, help me understand this. When you first started noticing that you could do this, how old were you?
Well, when I first acknowledged it, I was probably 18, but I knew since I was young, and probably second grade. But I shut it off because it was very scary. Okay. And then whenever I would tell people, hey, what was your previous husband's name? And they'd say, what? They were upset with me. So I shut it off. I stopped asking questions because they were all angry with me all the time because I would tell the truth about everything. So I shut it off.
Okay, so you're a young kid in school,
Yes.
and you're knowing things about your teachers
Yes.
and your other kids and stuff, and
Yes.
you're throwing it out there, and you're freaking out the other kids.
Absolutely.
And
Freaking out.
and the teachers.
And most of the teachers. The kids kind of just look at you like, whatever, or And then the teachers, though, my parents especially, honestly, we don't talk about that. Or other adults, we don't talk about that. Well, I've talked about everything. To me, it was just knowledge. It wasn't, anything I shouldn't talk about. Until I got in trouble.
Do you come from a family of gypsies or intuitives? I mean,
I come from, my dad retired from a large company. My mom, they're very normal people. They're very intuitive. They just don't acknowledge it. Very. In fact, my brother and I discussed in our 20s how when my dad would come into the room, we'd try to not think about the very thing that he would bring up, because he doesn't know he was doing it, but he would bring it up every single time, like we owed him money or how has the car of a dent or whatever. And we would just try to.
Yeah, but a lot of parents know stuff about their kids, though, right?
Totally. But this was specific at the specific time that we were thinking it. I can't prove that. I'm not saying that but it was weird that my brother and I both had. He's like, I know. They never talked about it. They would never acknowledge. When I told my dad I had this, he said, is it like Madame Cleo and the 900 number? I'm like, no. So yeah, this is the extent of their knowledge generally. So
Okay. So you were just doing it, and then you hold off on it. Now, when you hold it back, when you decide, okay, this is freaking people out, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Is this one of those use it or lose it sort of things, or is it always there? You just keep it suppressed?
It's always there. It was like it was suppressed. I mean, it would come out in certain ways. I'd stop talking about it. I would know things, but I just wouldn't say it. I would just kind of tell myself no.
Like what? What would you know? What would you know about somebody that you wouldn't say?
Well, always if they're lying. I have huge lying radar, and I just let so much of it go because we all lie. We all have little lies. I mean, I'd be exhausted if I chased every single lie, or if they were sick, or if they had an affair, or if, and that stuff I tried to shut off eventually. As I've gotten older, I can kind of shut it down a little bit, pick and choose what I want to know.
So, like in your mind, you're a sophomore in high school, and there's Mr. Johnson, the biology teacher, and in your mind, I mean, are you seeing like, oh, he was doing it with a math teacher back there in the break room?
Totally, and it's so ironic that you just said that. Maybe you're a psychic. I had a Mr. Johnson who was hanging out with the math teacher, and they got married. So,
really?
Yeah, that's weird that you just said that.
Wow.
And he was a science teacher.
Well, maybe he should be interviewing me.
That was strange. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, okay, did you know that at the time that they were?
No, in fact, I didn't have one of them as a teacher. But basically, as I got older, and I understood, I was young. I was 6th grade, so I didn't really understand the whole affair thing. But as an older kid, yeah.
And you were living in a smaller town, right?
Yes.
So you're like probably the talk of the town.
I didn't tell any. No one really talked about it, but I was definitely different. I'm sure people, recognize that definitely. So yeah.
Okay, so you start doing this as a hobby.
I did, yeah.
And then next thing you say, hey, I can start getting paid for this.
I did, actually. It took me a number of years to figure out that it was actually real. Because again, I'm very skeptical. I'm thinking it's some random thing. We only use 10% of our brains, and so I'm just picking up patterns, stuff like that. And maybe I am. Maybe that's all it is, honestly. So
what? Okay, I know I'm going to regret asking this question. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, what are you sensing about me?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you want people to know this, but honestly, you have a very soft and very warm and very generous energy.
Oh, bite me.
Yeah, that's exactly. You do. You absolutely do.
Oh, no, that ain't bad. I mean,
no, it's not bad at all. No, it's not all bad stuff.
Okay.
No.
Well, no, you said you want people to know this. It's like what?
Oh, no, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
great.
All right.
Yeah, I knew you'd be easy to talk to.
But that's sort of
yeah.
And again, that's saying, hey, boy, I'm really sensing from you that you're a nice person. That's sort of generic sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, everybody's sensitive to some level, aren't they?
Right, definitely.
So, okay, so what is that than just being, hey, a good, reader of personalities?
No, I totally agree with you. That's probably not the greatest indicator of what I do. Definitely. Mm-hmm. If you have a problem, we can talk about it on air if you want to. You got it. Tell me about it.
Got problems.
Lay on my couch.
Have I got problems? Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make this into a therapy session or something.
That's okay.
But okay. I'm sure you get this all the time, this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if I have problems, you should know what they are.
But exactly, no, and I love that you brought that up. That's why I don't go by the term psychic, because you could have 800 problems. I don't know which one you want to talk to me about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the bitch ain't one. Sorry. Sorry, a little Jay-Z reference there. Hey, for an old guy, I'm hip.
That's right.
But okay, so that's why you say intuitive as opposed to psychic.
Right, exactly. And I could. No, don't get me wrong. I could sit there and, weed it out and whatever. But again, it's not about what I can do in my mind. Mm-hmm. It's not. I have a lot of people that have had great sessions and they're really happy and they're like, wow, how? I'm like, well, I'm psychic. Hello. But I don't like to say that because I don't like that practice. It deters from the personal development, in my opinion. Now, if you had a pure psychic in here, meaning that she or he, sits down and cold reads, that's a great question, honestly. And those are good questions. I'm hugely skeptical. I want an evidential medium or psychic if I go to one, but mine is more, I'm going to help you. This is not about trust me. This is, I'm going to provide real information about where this came from, how to get rid of it. And I have a lot of ongoing clients, so that tells me it's working. So.
One year, doing radio, One year we took wrapped Christmas presents to psychics.
No, you didn't.
And said, okay, tell us what am I getting for Christmas?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they didn't think it was very funny. I didn't think it was very funny.
I think that's hilarious.
So that's I'm like very skeptical towards psychic.
Right. That's exactly. And even a regular psychic probably would not know. Probably, because not every psychic knows everything or every intuitive. In fact, that's ridiculous.
Why do people want to know this stuff? In other words, people come to you and why do they want to know this sort of thing?
What sort of thing?
I know you're not a psychic, but they come to you because they think that you can see something in them that they can't see.
Yes.
Why?
I think, okay, so if I can speak to both sides, because I did them both. Mm-hmm. As a regular traditional psychic, which I don't do, please do not call me for that ever, it was because they believe that if someone else in the world has this gift that they must be more special, and so they have information that they can, which I think is total BS. I really do. And I have a lot of psychic friends that don't act that. They don't sit there and I'm God and I know. It is, can I help you through this, and et cetera. So those are my type of intuitive friends. But I did have that. And I would tell people, even if I did know this, it's you have to make the choice. It's on you. It's, I don't want the responsibility so that's why I switched through the years into this. Because it's not my responsibility to, whatever choice you make, even, if I told you this information, it's yours to take it and do with what you want.
If someone you cared about or knew was getting ready to go on a flight.
Yeah.
And you were getting a bad vibe about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say something?
Absolutely. I would. But I don't. So this is gonna sound odd, but through the years, I've decided what I want to receive. And I've decided that I don't want all the negative all the time. A lot of people focus on that. In fact, when I say, well, drive safe, they'll take it like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, oh my God, that means drive safe. I love you. Come on, So I don't tend to focus on the negative, so that doesn't tend to come to me. Now, once in a great while, I have a huge, oh my God, this isn't good. And then I listen because it doesn't come very often. So.
Now, people generally always focus on the negative anyway,
they do.
Right?
It's crazy.
I always joke about the fact that if you have a paper cut, you're not focusing on the 99.999% of your body that's doing well.
It's doing awesome.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's that paper cut. Exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in the psychic world, it happens too. Why would you go to a psychic if you're doing awesome? Honestly. So there's a lot of negativity in the field, to be honest, too.
Do you think psychics or intuitives, for the most part, what percentage would you say of them are frauds?
Oh, my gosh. A large percentage, a huge percentage. And I don't mean that, again, I did it. I have friends that do it, and I think they're amazing. They wouldn't be my friends if they weren't real people and really good. But a large percentage are frauds because people are so vulnerable. And when I first got into the business, I didn't know that. I was so naive. I hadn't gone to one or anything, but I'd heard in Omaha where I don't know who they are, but there were people taking advantage of certain cultures that were superstitious and asking for $1,200 to light a candle. Go to church for God's sake, right? That's crazy to me. But I think a very large percentage, unfortunately. So you have to, I tell people when you're choosing one, referrals are awesome. Call them. If they'll talk to you, just even for 5 minutes to get a vibe from them, great, and et cetera. But yeah, unfortunately, it does this business. I always say to my friends, this business tracks some, a little, I don't know what to,
it's like anything else. Let the buyer beware, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Like anything. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So now you're a life coach. Mm-hmm. All right. First of all, how do people know that? How do you just put a shingle up and buy an ad in the paper and say, "Hey, I'm a life coach"? How do people know about you?
I run up and down Dodge with flyers. Hey, what's up? No, just kidding. You got any problems for me? No, referrals. Really, I started off as a psychic medium. I was on the radio for 4 years here in town and doing that, and so. It was hard. It was a hard switch because people still see me as that person. But this, I feel like I'm giving so much more in this field. So I already had a base of people, not that they're really super happy that I wasn't doing what I was doing before, but I had that. And then as soon as I decided, this is going to sound crazy, but literally the minute I decided I'm not doing medium work anymore. I'm doing life coaching. I met somebody who connected me with some leaders in town, basically, and they connected with more people. So I thought if you can help leaders, they can help their people. So that was my way of trying to help more people.
What is the main problem people come to you with?
It's the basics. Relationships or love, happiness level in general, because nothing's going to make you happy. Money, career. It's really they are the basic things. They truly are. And so I had a couple today, they're having a problem with their child, and it's really not about the problem. It's about the inner person always. And so I've learned, I have very strong clients. I've had them say to me, no one has ever talked to me like that before. I'm like, well, you're paying me to talk to you like this because I'm very blunt. I'm not rude, but I'll tell you like it is. And it's always about you. Always. I don't care what is happening in your life. It's you. And so seriously, and I can prove it and I can help you through it. And if you don't think that, I can't help you. So if you're going to point fingers, I can't help you.
So yeah, you're always blaming somebody else for your unhappiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no other truth, and it's you. It's you. It's how you're showing up. That's it. So seriously.
But, okay, how do you sell that idea to people? Because I mean, a lot of times I would guess people come to you and they're looking for an easy answer.
Absolutely true.
And the easy answer is not, I'll be honest, okay, I was in a relationship with a woman that was an alcoholic.
Oh, boy.
Okay, and I went to Al-Anon thinking that Al-Anon was going to teach me how to get her to stop drinking.
Right.
Okay, I mean, how hard can that be, right? Okay,
right.
I go to Al-Anon a few classes, I go to Al-Anon, and all of a sudden it's like, no, dude, you're working on yourself.
Exactly.
And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a whole life lesson for me to learn that.
Absolutely.
How do you get people that come to you thinking that you're going to, maybe just reinforce
what they're thinking?
What they're thinking, that you're right, your mother is a jerk, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely true.
How do you get them to think that it's them?
It's absolutely, that's funny that you're asking me this. You're so intuitive. I'm just kidding. It could be coincidence. I was driving and just thinking about that very thing, how they come to me thinking, just as you did, no matter what I say on the phone or what I say on my website, they know that they're right. So when they get into the chair or on the phone, I'm not rude, but I will pretty forcefully and quickly say, but lovingly, honestly, because I do care about people, I will say, this is why it's you. And this is, and so I think the truth perseveres. And I'll tell them, I don't just say, hey, it's you. That's awful. That's a terrible feeling. But I'll tell them the truths about why it's them, how they can untangle it, and et cetera. And so once they have some tools, like right after I kind of blow their brains with that, then give them some quick tools, reassure them they're not alone. We all point fingers. All of a sudden they relax and it's like, okay, I got this. I can do this, because their way is not working. So I think most people are pretty intelligent. And once they get the truth, it's like, oh, all right, I can do that.
Now, you're not licensed or anything, right?
No, I'm not.
So, so you're not like a psychologist or psychiatrist or anything along those lines?
No, but I have a lot of those as clients, which is funny.
Really?
Yes, I do. Lots of counselors, psychiatrists, doctorate. Absolutely, yeah. They love it. I don't know, because I cut through. I'm not going to stay here for years with you, unless you've got a lot going on, a lot of life changes. But honestly, I'm impatient. So I assume everyone is. Let's just get down to it. Let's cut the crap.
Is it tough for them then? I mean, you're just like, who do they go to? So they go to you.
They do. Yeah. I think it's, a lot of them have told me it's because it is so pragmatic and blunt, and, and I don't know, it just works.
Do you ever get somebody that has a problem and you just say, wow, this is too much for me to handle, let me refer you, or,
Yes.
Yeah, go seek mental help?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have wonderful people that I trust wholly in Omaha and that do phone sessions as well, in case someone's out of town. But absolutely. I'm not a doctor, but there are times where I think, okay, the energy of this person it may not be what they're saying, but it's like, I can't do this.
Right.
No way. Like manic or bipolar, I can't treat that. So yeah, and I'll just gently say, I think this is out of my league. I've got someone amazing for you. And they usually take it up, and she helps them, and everything's good. So
what about it? Maybe somebody that is just weird. You know what I mean? In other words, their problems may just be nothing criminal, nothing dangerous, but just very dark or very strange. And you look at them and say, like, okay, yeah,
dude,
yeah, really,
yeah, yeah.
Put on some pants. You know what I mean? Is that...
the first order of business are pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do people like that come to you too?
Very rarely. When I was doing more pure psychic work, traditionally what we would think of it as, all the time. Oh my gosh. So I just think that they're searching, and this is, kind of an interesting field and et cetera, but not so much now. Again, mine's a lot of referral. And so I think the people that I have are pretty quality people, and their friends are quality people. So
we're all searching in some way or another, aren't we?
We are. Oh my gosh. See, that's exactly true. Absolutely.
What, hate to bring this up.
That's okay.
But can you make a living at this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you're good.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. I'm confident. I'm not saying it's like, I'm just confident in what I do. Yeah.
But again, like, there's no official training that you went through for this.
Not for me. Now, if someone's interested, in the life coaching part of it, there's a lot of training out there. Absolutely. And I sought it out, and it just didn't fit what I was doing. And so eventually I just decided to create my own way of doing. In fact, in December, I'm revamping it again, and hopefully even not faster is not better, but even giving more through tools and et cetera, even beyond just the sessions. So that's my hope.
Oh, okay. Give me some generic solutions. In other words, did you say everybody has the same sort of problems? Basically,
Yeah.
they're looking for love
Yeah.
or happiness of some
Yeah.
sort.
Absolutely.
Is there a common thread that you can say, look, if everybody just did this,
Yes.
a lot of problems would be solved?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If everyone would clarify what they want, I just wrote an article for a magazine in town here today. That is the biggest problem I've ever seen. I have these amazingly intelligent, highly successful people sit down and they're unhappy. I mean, they've got everything that you would think. You know what I'm saying? They've got the family, they've got the car, everything. Good job. They don't know what they want is what the problem is. They have zero idea. Like if $1 million plopped, well, now $1 billion these days, if $1 billion plopped in their lap, what would you do? No idea. Obviously after the spending, but they don't know. And so clarity is the number one key. And people, oh yeah, well, they don't do it. Really? Seriously. You might love your job, and I love that, but most people are miserable.
But the thing is that it's always changing. I mean, the act, for me at least, the interest and the joy is in the challenge.
Yeah, and something.
And then once you accomplish that, it's like, okay, now what?
Agreed. I'm the same way.
And that's the problem sometimes is saying, okay,
Yeah.
especially if you're in the communication field. I mean, these podcasts were unheard of just a few years ago.
Absolutely.
And now, now they are, a major way of communicating.
Absolutely.
And you've got to be able to adapt. And that's very tough for some people too, isn't it?
That's huge. I was just going to say, if your clarity is that you need challenge, and the clarity doesn't come instantly sometimes. Maybe the technology hasn't caught up with what you need yet or whatever, but absolutely, it's adaptability. If you're a person that loves change and challenge, you know that you're going to have to be adaptable. And having that clarity will bring you more joy. You probably have more fun than a lot of people, don't you think?
I do.
Yeah.
God, I hope not. God, Overall, I mean, I like what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, but it comes with a price, and so you can't.
Everything.
I think everybody thinks they can always have it all, and you can't.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
And you can't have it all.
That's
Everybody
right.
thinks that well, I can have the career and do the job, and I can have the family and the happy relationship, and
Nope.
sleep around on the side without getting caught and everything.
Right,
They think they can have it all, the Mercedes and
No,
and have $1 million, and you really can't. Can
Absolutely not. Not if having it all means that all of those things require so much of your energy. And that's another clarity that I would tell people. How much do you want this? How much time do you want it to take from you? Because some people say, I want to live in Aruba. I really want to live there. But they've got 5 tiny kids. Do you want to schlep your children to Aruba? No. So no, that's not your real dream right now.
I wrote a book, and I can't tell you. I wrote a book. I've done stand-up comedy and do talk radio, and I can't tell you how many people over the years have come up to me and said, I've always wanted to write a book, or I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a talk show.
Right.
And my first question,
Do it.
What's stopping you?
Seriously. Probably lack of talent. But seriously.
I've been able to get by with lack of talent.
I know.
No, I mean, that seriously is. I mean, it's taking that first step.
Yeah, it is.
And not being afraid to fail.
I totally agree. That's another thing that I do. I literally, of course, everybody has a fan page or whatever on Facebook, and I wrote on mine, my style of coaching is, here's your wings, here's your cliff, and here's a swift kick in the butt. Because that's my style of coaching. Don't do it. Just do it. And if you don't do it, you'll never do it. And it's pretty elementary.
Why do people hold themselves back?
Honestly, fear of failure, fear of success, because when you have the success, then, oh my gosh, is my husband going to be okay with this? And there are a lot of people that hold themselves very, very small so that they don't disrupt their tribes or their, for lack of a better term, families or whatever. So many. What would so-and-so say? I'm like, oh, who cares? I mean, personally, I don't care what they say. You've got to be happy. But a lot of people don't live like that.
You said hold themselves back because their husband.
Yeah,
okay?
their husband or their wife. Yeah.
Well, or the wife. I mean, is that a thing where women will hold themselves back because they're afraid of maybe making more money than their husband or
definitely.
outshine their husband? Mm-hmm. So they don't live up to their potential?
Absolutely.
And then they bitch about how women make less money than men.
And then they bitch
how... Yeah.
No, seriously. I all day long, I agree with you. I do. Honestly, if you're bitching about something, what are you doing to contribute to it? No kidding. But we lie to ourselves so hard. And that's why when people sit down, I know when they're lying. And I'll say, you're telling yourself this BS. Well, here's the truth. And it is the truth. It's a truth within them. And that's why they're like, oh my gosh, yeah.
You sound very hopeful. You sound very positive. And that, okay, what's holding you back?
Oh man. Oh, I did not expect that question. That's funny that you just said that. Okay.
Because it's got to be. I mean,
Yes.
I don't mean to get personal or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I would think the same thing would happen. I mean,
It
you're
does.
human, so although
Yeah.
you talk about all this stuff, and it's nice to talk about it, and it's good to hear.
Yeah.
But the reality is, when you still got to step off that ledge.
You are absolutely right. Just today, literally, it's so funny that you just said that. Just literally today, I publicly wrote a podcast, or not a post on my blog. Not a lot of people saw it, but to me now it's out there that I am no longer putting my intuitive psychic foot forward at all. Like I've been teaching intuitive classes and I'm just cutting off. And that was my identity here in Omaha for so many years. And I'm done with it. It's over. But it's like leaving a child behind. And so for me, it was always, oh my God, what are they going to do without me? Well, they'll be fine. Hello, duh. How egotistical. And then it was losing my own identity, my own credibility. I had so much, because I'd be on air and I'd say, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not getting anything. And people would be like, oh my God, how are you? I'm like, because it's true. So I'm losing all of this and trying then now to just fully put my personal development foot forward. I'm not going to hide who I am, but I just kind of done with all the woo-woo side of it. Not that it's bad. It's just not mine anymore. So what held me back was the loss of identity, was the loss of the audience. You know what I'm saying? And the fear that I won't have another one. I really don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen now that I'm cutting that wholly off. I have a lot of personal development people, but I had a huge sign light out of the other. So.
Okay, so you're going to stop being intuitive?
No, I'm going to stop basically. I kind of let it straggle on a little bit, even though after I stopped doing it on the radio and everything. As far as classes, I would teach people how to read themselves, other people. They're very grounded people. It was very fun, and they're amazing people, actually. But it's just, I knew I don't know why. I knew December it was time to fully go into the personal development. Not to say that I won't use my intuition. I always will. I think it's a gift. I really do. But as far as my branding, the classes that I do, it's all going to be about, this is on you. You know, that may be my tagline. This is on you, not me anymore. So, you know.
What kind of person comes to see you? I mean, is it primarily middle-aged women? Is it?
God, it is all over the board. I've had, 9-year-olds, 18-year-olds, middle-aged, professional women, professional men. I have a lot of professionals just because, again, it's a referral system, but it could be anybody. Truly, it's all over the place, but it's mostly women, I will say. It's mostly even the younger ones.
Because men are probably not as open to.
They're not, and I think it's touchy-feely, and it's. I mean, we're going to talk about some stuff, and they know it. We're not just going to be like, oh yeah, you're right, she's a witch. This is about you, and I don't think that's super comfortable for a lot of men. No offense.
I don't. It's right. It's like, well, the game's on. Yeah. It's just. It's just easier that way.
Yes.
And, okay, so first of all, let's have a plug for your website. You have a website, right?
Yeah, yes, it's TomBecka.com.
TomBecka.com.
Yes.
And what can people find on the website?
They will be able to find out about my services, obviously. There are a lot of, I keep trying to say podcasts, actually, posts about personal development, happiness. That's my main focus, is happiness. It really kind of envelops everything. And so I do hope to have, this kind of a little silly, but quizzes for people to kind of clarify what they want and et cetera. And so.
Okay, you say happiness, and now it's coincidental because I was having this conversation with a friend today at lunch.
Okay.
I believe happiness is overrated.
Really? Oh, tell me why. I'm so curious.
Well, I think that people are always striving to be happy.
Yeah.
That they're never happy because it's never enough. It's never, so you're always trying to be happy.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, yeah, well, it'd only be better if I had that, or if I was that person. Boy, they've got it so much better than me, and I want this and that. I mean, so actually, the idea of just saying, well, life kind of sucks, but I'm not living in some third world country, with a protruding belly.
Yeah. No, I totally, and I think there's a third option. I really do, and I agree. I believe that happiness is not something you strive toward. I believe, this is going to sound a little odd, but it's my truth. If you get right within yourself, not about cars and houses, and if you heard my van pulling up, you would know. My God, it sounds like someone screaming through your neighborhood. It's horrible. I don't care about the cars, but my view of happiness is being honest with yourself from the depth of yourself to your conscious mind. And seriously, and that's it. And we're not. We lie. Like you said, the women who say women don't make as much and da-da-da. What are you doing to hold yourself back? Why are you scared? That's one reason. And, I don't want all these women calling me and telling me, I know there's a problem. But what I'm saying is, it is being congruent from your subconscious to your conscious mind. And that takes work. It takes sitting quietly with yourself and listening to yourself. And no one does that. Seriously. So there's a third option.
Do they have time to do it anymore?
Absolutely. Put down the Facebook.
Don't yell at me. Don't yell. It was a valid question. Yeah. I don't need the attitude.
Here, I'm holding out my hand. Slap your face on it.
Knock it off.
Absolutely, they have time. Put down the Facebook. Put down whatever. Skip happy hour one night. Honestly, skip one soccer practice. Your kid's not going to die from you not being there for one soccer practice a week or whatever. So, but yeah, I've proven that. I've had high executive women who are, I have no time. I'm like, you have time, and I'm going to prove it to you. And so I would say to everyone, if they're listening to this, challenge yourself to find 10 minutes a day to be quiet. 10 minutes, honestly. Seriously, that's it. I used to say the same thing. I don't have time. If you don't have 3 minutes, you should not be doing all the stuff you're doing. That's it. That's the truth.
So you just have to just shut it off for about 5 minutes a day.
Yeah,
5-10 minutes a day.
As long as you're truly, truly quiet, and everybody says my brain doesn't shut up. Well, it never will. It's a brain, so don't try to make it. Just let it. Oh, thanks for playing. That's what I tell my brain. Thanks for playing. I don't attach to whatever is going on. Take a breath. Let it flow. Seriously. It doesn't have to be woo-woo. It doesn't have to be a big hour-long meditation.
Does it does what you do interfere with your life?
Oh yeah.
In other words, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Totally.
If you're in a relationship, married or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I was married to an intuitive,
yeah,
it'd freak me out after
it's
a while. Be
bad.
like, oh, just leave me alone.
They just start lying.
Yeah.
And then it starts making me crazy. And this big thing happens. Seriously. It's so true. Yeah, it really does affect my life. Although it's fun. I have teenagers. I'm always I'll see a blade of grass on the floor. I'm like, you snuck out last night. I'll just know.
But that's just a mom. Maybe
that's it. Maybe that's it.
Every mom knows.
I think it's just funny.
Yeah, my mom had that. And she knew.
She did.
Yeah, it's amazing as you get older and you start having conversations with your parents, and you realize they knew a lot more than you thought they knew.
Absolutely. They pick their battles totally.
Yeah.
But I'm actually in a very new relationship, and I think he's handling it pretty well, but I think it's got to be overwhelming.
It would be weird.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
And I admit that to people. I'm like, I know this is weird. I do. I'm not, but so we'll see. We'll see if he runs for the hills after hearing this. Oh my God. She's crazy.
If you were psychic, you would know if it would work out.
That's awesome.
I'm just saying.
No, it is God's a cruel joke. I rarely know about my own stuff. So that's probably good though.
That's probably true I would imagine. Even you look back, like I look at maybe some relationships I've been in over the years, and if they didn't work out, I look back afterwards and I say, you know what, if a friend of mine had been in the same situation, I would have been able to see it.
Absolutely.
But when you're in the middle of it yourself, it's like...
It's completely... No. That's a part of the coaching too, is that people are like, why is this da-da-da-da? You can't see it when you're in it. You really can't. And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be learning through action, not just in your mind. That's another thing I thought today was how funny we are. We want to know and experience everything in our brains instead of through action or with other people. We just want to, it's like, get to the end. It's kind of silly, really, if I think about it. So
if somebody comes to you, normally how many sessions do they have? In other words, is it, like you seen the same people for years, or do people see it for 3 sessions and they get it figured out and move on?
Both. The ones I've had for years are generally working on huge career shifts, and then another, then maybe the relationship thing comes up, and then maybe another huge. And so I have them for a long time just because they're moving so rapidly through life. But some other people just, I could have 1 session sometimes, honestly, because there's just a decision in life that they need to make, and they need some clarity about it, or a handful. I sell a package of sessions, I guess, but so it's all over the place, really. I do have a core set of people that it just kind of helps them. They're professionals and they just want to keep on track, and it just helps.
Are these people that are just lonely and have nobody else to talk to?
No, that's the craziest thing. No, they have tons of people. This is just... I mean, I'm not a bragger, but I want to say that I just have this ability. It was just given to me. I didn't ask for it. I just know how to cut through it and get to it, and then pretty much give the tool. And I've had people that come in over and over with the same problem, like, you're not doing what I asked you to do. And they're like, you're right, I haven't. So it just works. It just does.
The webpage is TomBecka.com.
Yes.
BROCKMAN?
MANN, but I did buy the N as well. So. Okay. Yes.
Either one will get to you, huh?
Either one will get to me.
Either one will get to you. And there you have it, Deb Brockman, the intuitive life coach here on TomBecka.com. As we build this community of people, every Sunday there's a new interview here on the line, a new interview of an interesting person with a story to tell. And if you like this story, when you share with your friends, when you tell them about TomBecka.com, when you spread the word through your social media, talk about it at the coffee shop, over the dinner table, with your buddies at work, and let people know every Sunday a new and interesting person here at TomBecka.com. Hey, and if you have an interesting person you think it'd be good to interview, don't hesitate to let me know. Just drop me a line, and we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you or someone you know will end up here some Sunday.